there's a lot of former athletics who are now headed to the postseason, or at least fighting for that opportunity this weekend, Stu, and there are more than you think. I did the research. I went through all the teams, all the rosters. I went through all the names, and I'm like, oh, forgot about you. Oh, you're in it? I almost can't believe some of these. You ready to dive in?
Well, I just want to know, did you have to tell me that you did the research?
Just rubbing it in.
I know you did the research.
I spent an hour on this last night. You better appreciate it. Let's begin with the Baltimore Orioles. Look, sometimes I rely on help. Last night, I helped you.
You probably did all of this on your own.
Danny Coulombe, Shintaro Fujinami, Jorge Mateo, and Cole Irvin. Now, Irvin, by the way, was sent down to the minor league team. Not sure if he's eligible for being on the postseason roster, but on the organization. That's an interesting group right there. Any comments or any thoughts there?
Well, just on your comment on Cole Irvin, obviously if there's an injury, they can call him back, and it does make him eligible for the playoff roster. Jorge Mateo's been around, and he has been with a lot of different baseball teams, and somehow he's found a place with the Baltimore Orioles, and he's been very instrumental in their rise in this division and winning this division. Very good player. And
then obviously Fuji had a really rough season with the A's, goes to Baltimore. Now he's on a playoff team. Here's three players on the A's I used to really like. Jonah Heim behind the dish, gone too soon in my opinion. He's really flourished with the Rangers behind the plate. Obviously Marcus needs no introduction or description. We love him. And then there's Robbie Grossman, who was a very productive player for his short time with the A's.
Yeah. Heim is a guy that, as you said, man, we didn't see very much of him, but I can tell you what, with the naked eye, you knew that he was going to be a pretty good catcher behind the plate, and you don't get very many switch-hitting catchers, and it's turned out that his bat has stepped up. And then I don't know how you're not a Marcus Semien fan. I have no idea how you're not a Marcus Semien fan, not you personally. Not you personally, bro.
I got all like weirded out.
Not you
Are you
personally.
kidding me? You're saying how anybody might not. I totally agree.
Marcus Semien.
Kind of weird.
If you see him play, but even past that, if you get an opportunity to just meet and talk to the man.
Oh my gosh.
He's just an unbelievable individual. And Robbie Grossman I've always liked. And I think that Boch has found the proper way to play this guy so that he's productive, because it seems like every time you turn on the television, if he's in the lineup, he's doing something to help that team.
We got to hustle through some of these next teams here. The Minnesota Twins, who the A's just saw, they're definitely in. It's a weaker AL Central, but they're at the top of it. Sonny Gray likely to pitch Game 2 of their first-round series, and former bullpen arm Emilio Pagan expected to get some opportunity for Minnesota this postseason. How about Tampa, Stu? You said again that they're high on your list. Not the biggest names in A's history, but Christian Bethancourt, again, a player who flourished after he was good here, but he obviously has become even better and more pivotal with the Rays. And Jake Diekman out of the bullpen was very reliable during his time with the Oakland A's. Let's move on to the Toronto Blue Jays and the ultimate two favorites of the last decade, maybe. I mean, Matt Olson's name in there, Marcus's name in there, but my goodness, Chris Bassett and Matt Chapman representing the Jays, and obviously I'm pulling for them to get in, and I'm pulling for Chris Bassett to get a playoff start.
Oh, he's going to get one. I mean, he's, in my opinion, he's the best pitcher on their staff. He's got the most wins on their staff for sure. But he is the best pitcher on their staff, in my opinion. He knows what he's doing out there. You know how I feel about this guy, so I won't even keep talking about him.
We don't have enough show for you to fully say how you feel about Chris Bassett. And it's interesting, right? He was on the Mets and now landed in Toronto and joining Matt Chapman on one of our playoff favorite teams. So Chris Bassett pitches with his heart, his arm, and his brain, and hopefully all three of those can get him success in the playoffs. What more can you say about Matt Chapman? Look at that at-bat, facing his friend James Caprillion right there.
Great at-bat.
Against the A's. But you know what? Chappie deserves to be in postseason baseball. Say it like that.
He does. I mean, I think that the world needs to see how great this guy is defensively, how special he is defensively. And he's swinging the bat pretty well this year. Those numbers aren't indicative of what he did early in the year. Earlier in the year, he was on fire. But this guy is a two-way player. But when you see him play defense, you would pay the cost just to see him do that.
He had the freak injury, lifting weights, hurt his finger. Obviously, we hope he's back and healthy enough to be in the playoffs. Let's go to Houston. And although you're friends with Dusty Baker, and that's a close and personal connection, they have only one former Athletic on their roster.
Well, it's actually two.
Kendall Graveman. Oh, go ahead.
Dusty.
What? Okay. I guess I meant in recent times. Dusty's not, I don't think Dusty's taking an AB, but obviously Kendall Graveman representing the Astros is a former Athletic on that team. And then how about Seattle? They don't have any A's players. Well, current players. They have a former A's player who's now one of their current coaches, Stephen Vogt, a bullpen coach.
Your buddy who's taking my place, right?
I'm reaching a little bit there. No, he's staying in coaching. I tried to get him in broadcasting, but Stephen Vogt going back to the playoffs, very likely as a member of the Seattle Mariners coaching staff. You can see how his former A's teammates and friends still think about him.
All this fraternizing.
Well, he's Stephen Vogt. All right, like I said, we got to keep hustling through this list to get there on time. The Dodgers have Max Muncy, a player who broke into Major League Baseball with the A's, and another player who has had even better days since going somewhere else. Max Muncy, a staple in the Dodgers lineup. Obviously, they've already clinched the NL West. Let's move on to the Phillies. Christian Pache was a trade late into this season, I should say early, because really it was spring training, but a relatively late trade as trades go in the offseason. So he's with the Phillies. They've already clinched an NL wildcard spot. How about the Diamondbacks? Jace Peterson was dealt to them by the A's. They're contending, trying to get in. We saw their scenario of how they can clinch tonight, in fact, if not tomorrow or over the weekend. And then there's the Brewers, who have four former members of the Oakland A's. Andrew Chafin, that short time of the 21 season. Joel Payance is on there, Josh Donaldson, and Mark Canha. And those are obviously favorites of ours. Stu, that brings us to the Atlanta Braves. And this one is heavy. Jesse Chavez, no offense and no disrespect, we're going to recognize you, but we're going to focus on Murph and Matt Olson. And let's begin with Matt Olson. He has tore it up with Atlanta. He's
had a hell of a year again with the Braves. I mean, he's just, no wonder why they extended his contract, and he's become a staple there. I mean, he's just an unbelievable defensive player, Gold Glove player at first base, and this year offensively, he has really turned it up.
And Sean Murphy also living up to expectations. Again, when you are part of a big trade like that to a contending team, there's a lot of pressure on you. Both of those players have lived up to expectations. Okay, real quick, we got to run through three different teams here and a couple more names. Jesus Luzardo, AJ Puck, and Joey Wendell. On the contending Marlins right now, we'll see if they get into the postseason. On the Cubs, it's Yan Gomes, again, short time with the A's, but could get there with the National League team of Chicago. And then the Reds, Sam Moll was recently traded there. They're going to try and get in the playoffs, along with an Athletic of yesteryear, Nick Martini. And I think the Reds are a fun-to-watch team. We'll see if they can.
They're a fun-to-watch team. David Bell is the son of Buddy Bell. Yep. Buddy kept me out of a lot of trouble in Texas.
So you owe the Bell family something. At least their fandom. All right, let's get into our changeup presented by Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. We send you down to SoCal. Johnny D, Dallas B, set to have our call tonight. Fellas, on the note of our conversation just now, do you guys have any favorite players or teams that were former A's related that you'll be pulling for in this postseason?
Well, Brody, I was thinking Seattle maybe with Vogt, but I got to thinking with Minnesota last weekend and the fact that they have not won a playoff game, 18 consecutive games without winning a playoff game. So Sonny Gray, Emilio Pagan are there. I'm rooting for the Twins, actually. I'd like to see the Twins at least win a playoff game, maybe a playoff series, to see what they could do. So I'm rooting for the Twins. How about you?
I can appreciate you allowing nostalgia to kind of pull at your heartstrings. Sure. I'm okay with that. But I think for me, when you have a guy like Matt Olson, who is setting franchise records out in Atlanta for the long ball, if that guy's your Uber driver, basically, like Ole was for me a few years ago, I got to side with Ole. And Murph, a ton of great conversations with the backstop, just about the art and the game, the craft of pitching. But I'd also be hard-pressed to not think about my man Marcus Semien out in Texas as well, right? That's tough. Jonah Heim. I mean, you've named a lot of different players that mean a lot, I know, to myself and the fans, but I think I'm probably... I got to roll with my guys.
I predicted you would. I predicted you go Braves. Yep.
Fellas, when you blow up the team, kind of like the A's did recently, it's easy to criticize that and say, well, that's why you have so many playoff-bound players on other teams now. But I think at the core of it, it also goes to the fact that they recognize talent early and often, to the point that, like, not a lot of other teams have this many players dispersed on successful groups.
Yeah, no question. I mean, it says a lot about the scouting department, what they do with the draft, and it really, I mean, I think it speaks volumes about how good this A's franchise is in picking out good players, and I mean, it's obviously a big indication of that.
Well, you took the words right out of my mouth, because there's only so much, I think, that can be quantified, but it takes the eye of folks who are watching the game, who are watching players go about their business even before and after the games, to let their folks know, hey, these are some guys that we need to keep an eye on. These are some guys that we think can absolutely make an impact. So let's go ahead and do that. And when they make those moves, eventually these players turn into resources and commodities that you're able to try to restock the minor league system with.